So, new year, new series. This is the first game I'm going to do this year, and it's called Senet. And it's based on the most ancient of all games, played by the Egyptians and then lost to antiquity. Somebody came up with the rules for it recently, like last couple hundred years, I think it was. I stumbled across this because I was looking for a new idea to build something, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna. I've been doing a lot of 2D stuff on the channel recently, and I thought I'm gonna break into 2D, and I'm gonna break in a way that is comfortable for me. So I chose a board game, and so this is what I have so far. I'm gonna do like a normal sort of code along video, but I just thought I'd do this as like an introduction. Again, this is just an off the cuff, not scripted, amateur hour that you're used to by now. So I'm going to press play here, and you can see that you have this 10 by 3 board, and it snakes its way through the desert. And that's an important feature about Senet. It's a story of life and death and rejuvenation and all this Egyptian good stuff. It is a crazy dice rule, actually one die, which can produce the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, but not 5. 5 is an important number to the Egyptians. And we'll dive into all these kind of rules as we go through this, but essentially it's a 10 by 3 grid. And you're probably wondering, well, okay, it's a 10 by 3 grid. How does it play? Again, we'll go into that in more details, but if I spawn the pawns here and then replay this, you'll see that you start off with two sides. There's a red and a blue side. They could be any color. It doesn't really matter. They usually play them with like spindles and cones. I chose little Roman centurions because these assets here are all from Kenney. Assets. Those of you not familiar with him, he does these fantastic assets. Every single one of these is animated. Not right now, obviously, but I turned the animation off. But the full rig is included and all that kind of stuff. So just amazing work from Kenney. And so you start off. You probably notice there's 5 red pieces and 5 blue pieces. And the way the game starts is you have to get your pieces all the way to the end. So where that palm tree is at the bottom. So you step off this board here, and then you enter the afterlife. And that's the kind of journey there. There's a place here which is kind of like free parking. Nothing happens there. However, there's a water hazard here, and if you land on here, you end up going back up to here. And there's a few bits and pieces of rules. The game plays a bit like Snakes and Ladders and a bit like Backgammon. It's a weird mix of those two games. Anyway, so this is the sort of board setup. I did find a good. This is from DanielHarper.org, so he's got a good sort of overview of the board. So you go from square 1 all the way down here to square 11, and then all the way back along to the left, and then down, and then all the way along to the right. If you land in 15, 15 is like free parking. That's the Ankh, the symbol of life. So nothing happens to you. If you land on here, which is the House of Water, I think it is, then you basically get sent back to 15. So you drop all the way back to there. And there's rules for overtaking other people's pieces as well. And again, we'll get into that when we get into the sort of moving parts of things. And then these ones here, you require 4 rolls to get. Required to get 4 on the dice to enter the afterlife. 3, 2, and then obviously 1 there. And if you overshoot, so let's say you're here and you score 6, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you end up back where you were. So that's the kind of the sort of general kind of rules of play. And that's kind of where I've got so far is just doing this little animation. And I'll show you the code behind. It's fairly simple. I wanted this to be a little bit more animated. I haven't finished doing the animation for the soldiers. I'll do that, and then so the video if you go to the Codehouse codehoose.com, codehoose.com. That takes you to my GitHub repo or repos, and you'll see Senet in there. I'll link it below in the show notes as well. But essentially, this is what you'll end up with is the sort of animated version of this. As it is just, well, not as it is just now, but it'll have the pawns animating in as well, because I wanted to give it a bit of kind of visual flair and so on, because I've been kind of lacking in the old visual flair and the sort of, what makes a game good, what gives it a good game feel. So that's kind of what I'm kind of concentrating on this one, is the sort of game feel for this one. So anyway, so if you have any ideas about improving game feel, that kind of thing, then please let me know in the comments below for any of these videos. So to get the snaking, what I did was it's 30 blocks, so 10 by 3, 30 blocks. But I needed it to go all the way to the right, drop down one all the way to the left, drop down one all the way to the right. And the way I did that was I just implemented this little simple thing here, which is if it's divisible by 10, in other words, it's the end of the row, then what I want to do is I want to drop down one grid size, and then I want to change the Z direction. Again, I don't know why I do this to myself. This is like the worst coordinate system ever. Luckily, it's a board game, so I'm only interested in cells. But when I was setting this up, I thought I could fix it. I'll fix it later on, and then eventually I'm like, now it's stuck like this. So the camera. Let me just show you where the camera is. If I grab the scene here, you'll see that the predicament I've got. This is looking down the Z axis, so this is like where you should be putting things. So if you're doing X and Z, then you really should be kind of going along this left to right plane as I'm looking at the screen just now. I'm not. Also, to get this is another kind of fake it till you make it type game dev thing. You notice that some of these things are at jaunty angles. That's because it looks better when it's in the camera at this angle. And that's the only reason I did that, because this looked garbage. It looked very top-downy, and so I just tilted it slightly, and so that's why it ends up like that. But when you see it in the game, it looks fantastic. Well, I mean, it looks all right, but that's what happens. And yeah, you can see all these guys here. They're currently, for some reason, buried in there. They should actually be, if I bring one of them up, this should actually be about here. So let's go ahead and fix that just now. So this is in here, let me print it out, and bar pawn transform dot local position plus equals vector 2 dot up times 0.093, I think it is. I know that sounds like an arbitrary number, but I'm pretty sure that's the one that I used earlier on. Oh, it does not like that. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, that's vector 3, isn't it? It's 3D. See, I've already forgotten that I'm using 3D instead of 2D. That's typical of me. There we go. Okay, so there you go. There's their feet are now on the ground. And as Casey Kasem used to say, keep your feet in the ground and keep reaching for the stars. So yeah, that's that fixed. And then down here, I have this little thing here, get piece from index. Now I made a complete hash of how I did this. These board pieces, these are actually just the meshes that I made into prefabs. This one is an actual prefab that has a game object and the piece underneath it. So I'm going to have to go and recreate these using this method here. Yeah, I made a mistake. So, but the version that you're going to download, the version you're going to get when you go to the repo is going to have these corrected versions. So I'm going to do that just now, and so that won't be a problem for you guys. But yeah, just let you know. And then down here, I wanted the ability to not show the pawns when you start the game, just in case I didn't want to do it. Like for demos, for example, when I was showing you guys the very start of the video, and so that's why I ended up having that there. But yeah. Oh, the other one is there's a gap between each one of these, and the reason why there's a gap between that is fairly simple. Is because I needed grid lines, and I thought that was a nice way of doing it. So I just went in design mode. And put two blocks together and then kind of like pulled them apart slightly and thought, yeah, that's good enough. And so I ended up with, do I have it as a, no, I don't have it as a property. So I ended up having it as just this grid size. So grid size equals 1.02. So every time you move up, it goes, all the grids, all the cells are one unity unit in size. So 1.02 just gives you that 0.02 gap, and it makes it look like there's a grid. And yeah, the rest is fairly kind of standard stuff. Oh yeah, and this one down here is get piece from index. So if you're on a particular square, the default is a straight block because most of the board is made up from straight blocks. But there are other blocks, like there's the start block, there's the end block, the end sort of begin cap and end cap, and then the rest of these are the sort of cornering parts of it. So I needed to figure out which ones are which, so I just added that there. I'll add a wee space there. And that's it as far as the code's concerned. That's all I've got so far. Obviously I'll be adding more to the project soon. But essentially that's it. It's just a nice quick video just to let you know that I'm working on something, and more videos are coming out soon. And yeah, this is the first one that you're introducing the next project, which is Senet. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, subscribe, click the notification bell, and you'll get timely reminders when I put new project videos up. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and share on social media. That really does help the channel out, and I appreciate you doing that because it helps it, promote the channel and so on. So thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.